Comes to buyers, there's really only a handful of objections that buyers are going to throw at you, and most of the time those are, I'm not ready to get pre-qualified, I don't want to talk with a lender, or I'm not ready to make an offer yet, or something along those lines. They're just not ready to get in touch with a lender yet. Couple reasons of that is because most people feel that they aren't really educated in the process. You can either, one, take the time, educate them in the process of how it works, but do it in a way that's informative and not of you chastising them for their lack of knowledge with it. So be very careful about that. And another way with it is be like, hey, that's not a problem at all. You know, I think this is a good opportunity to get to meet one another, especially if this is your first showing. I think it's a good opportunity to meet one another. We can go take a look at the property, and basically then we can discuss things a little bit further then. So try not to get necessarily a commitment at that time. This is just the way I would handle it. Some could be a little bit more aggressive with it. Some like to say, oh, well, if you're not pre-approved, then I'm not showing properties to you. Well, guess what? Your competition will, and then they'll sit there and then convert them at the showing. What I always do is the first one's on me, essentially. If someone wants to see a property, I'm going to do it as an audition. I'm going to get there in front of the client, get the opportunity to meet with them, so that way they can make an actual assessment of who I am, how I operate, because you haven't built that relationship yet. So don't force something on them if they feel that they're not ready, because especially if you don't have a relationship with them, they're just going to back up from you. So I would get at the showing itself, be like, look, you know, I wanted to take the time to get the opportunity to meet you, discuss everything, and be like, but I also want to let you know that with us not being pre-approved and not knowing what type of loan that we're going to use, you're actually hurting yourself in those chances. Because say, for instance, if this is the one you loved and we wanted to make an offer, we wouldn't even know where to begin. And things move very quickly in our market. So if you fell in love with this property, most of the time these homes sell within a day or two if they're priced right. So the thing with it is, if you're ready to take a step forward and you're actually serious about buying a home, the reason we need to get you in touch with the lenders so we know what type of loan that we're going to use. We already know how much your good faith or your closing costs are going to be, so we know how much to ask for your closing cost. And then that way we can actually see what your payment would be, your interest rate would be, because we would hate to actually try and move forward with this property, and next thing you know, it's either out of your budget or a little more expensive than you wanted it to be, or whatever reason it is. It'd be like, so can you see just how important speaking with the lender is? Not saying that you're going to be buying a home, but it's really just doing a lot of that groundwork, so when we do find the right one, we'll be able to execute on it quickly, and you're going to be able to get that property before someone else will. So those are usually the ways that I would position it. Do it in a very passive way. If they say that they're still not interested, then you honestly need to reevaluate the motivation of this buyer and the loyalty of the buyer. So you need to do some probing questions and kind of reevaluate if they're the right person to work with, or if you need to hand them off to someone else. Don't sit there and try and convert someone that doesn't really want to commit to you or commit to the process.